Hello, hello. Welcome back to That Mill podcast. My name's Omer. Joining me today, I've got Benjamin Green. Hello, mate. How are you?
All right, mate. How we doing?
Not too shabby, thank you, mate. Post 3-0 defeat at home at the Den, I suppose. But got Dan with us here. He's going to tell us about Plymouth away that time when we won. So, hello, Dan. How are you?
Evening, gents. Evening, listeners. Yeah, can we just talk about that for the next 40 minutes? I think that might be slightly more enjoyable.
Sod it. We'll go straight into it. We're going to talk about Saturday's game, obviously, at length a little bit. Obviously, the live show's been done about it as well. I spoke about that post game. If you haven't tuned into that, make sure you check them out. But yeah, we lost 3-0 at the Den to Coventry on Saturday, and we're going to talk a bit, obviously, about today's game when you're listening to this, which is Ipswich, and also talk about Sunderland on the weekend as well. But Dan, Saturday, we obviously lost at 3-0 to Coventry. What's your overriding feeling after that, mate? Glass half full or negative Dan at full swing, or what we saying?
I'm actually going more glass half full, to be honest. We know what we're going to try and do isn't going to be an easy thing to do, given the squad we've got and given what Joe Edwards is going to want to do. I actually thought we played some decent football at times. End product was certainly lacking. Maybe not even really Bradshaw, to be honest. Just getting the ball into the box was a problem. And Ben's already smirking, so I already mentioned the name Bradshaw. We'll probably have to have a discussion about that one later, I think, Ben. But yeah, a glass half full. But Coventry, I spoke to a couple of Coventry fans before, and they said, you know, they thought that they were probably going to pepper a team at some point, just the way they've been playing. Ben said before the game they were in a false position, and alas, that's what happened. The only good thing is Edwards has certainly learnt more about his team from that 3-0 defeat than a 4-0 win away at bottom of the league, I would imagine.
Yeah, Ben, I suppose lead on to you, mate. Coventry are obviously they were in the playoffs last year, playoff finalists last year as well, weren't they? Decent sides. They're not obviously. They didn't get the playoffs for no reason last year. Obviously, no Guy Corres, but you can see going forwards, and obviously we saw on Saturday the trouble we had defensively. They're no side to be sniffed at, are they? And probably got a little run hopefully from now for them. But I wasn't overly shocked Saturday, but I think it was all the hope and anticipation, wasn't it? The classic Millwall way, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. There was a massive sense of, obviously, after Sheffield Wednesday, everyone was on such a buzz. Another sellout, if we talk about that at some point as well. But yeah, as Dan mentioned, they're massively in a false position, Coventry. I really like them. They're really good sides. It was a game that I looked at. I said draw on the live just because I didn't want to be negative, Dan, but I did think we'd get beat. And everything that I watched in the highlights kind of came true. The first main chance they had was from us pressing them in their box, and they made 3 passes, and Bart's made a wonderful save. So yeah, as I said, they're in a massively false position in the league. They are a good side, but we do just need to be a little bit careful moving forward that if we are going to play against these sides that are better than us and have better players than us, if we are going to be going full on press, be a bit more attacking with the defensive players that we've got and how slow they are, we need to be a little bit careful. But yeah, as I say, Coventry are a good side. I actually think they might do what they did last year and go on a bit of a run and nearly make the playoffs.
Yeah, they obviously are decent side. I think I kind of all this, I was kind of quietly the same, I suppose, on Saturday. Everyone's like confident, we just won 4-0 away Sheffield Wednesday, albeit. I was kind of the same as you, Ben. I think, I didn't think we'd lose or in the style we did, I suppose. I didn't expect a 3-0 defeat. On the stats, I think you posted in the group the other day, Ben, didn't you? All like the kind of the Twitter stats where it was like we had one of the most shots in the league on the weekend. We had one of the most shots on target, one of the most shots, in the final third or attacks in the final third. I can't remember if you know on top of your head what they were, mate. There was a few, weren't there?
Yeah, it was like I think, top 5 in the league for XG, most progressive passes in the final thirds, possession, I think shots on goal. So look, they're positive signs, right? Because as I said when I put them in the group, they're not stats you would have associated with us.
We've gone full circle here, haven't we? When we've been under Harris and Rowe, we've been like that. Them kind of stats don't matter, and now Edwards is here. We're all about them all of a sudden.
Yeah, I think that's what I mean. Because there's that point, like it wasn't a 3-0 game. Like, I mean, it could have been 8-3 for all we know. Like, it's one of those. It was a freak kind of performance, I think. But I felt like going into the game, it was all this talk of like, let's focus on ourselves, let's focus on ourselves. I was like, well, hang on, we're going to come against a side that's got a bit of talent in their side and can hit you on the break. And it felt like that was literally Coventry's game plan. And all this talk about trying to condense the pitch and be close together, it's brilliant to hear. And like, as a Millwall fan that's so used to going into games where it's like, let's try and be pragmatic and try and not get beat and then try and edge it towards the end. We're so used to it over the last 4 years, and now we've got obviously Joe Edwards in charge. And it's like we're going to focus on ourselves. We're going to try and condense the pitch and press high. But I'm thinking we've got Jake Cooper at centre half, and it's like this geezer has got a turning circle of double decker bus. Do you know what I mean? Like I love Cooper to bits, but not his game. And that showed, I think, on Saturday. But I suppose it feels like this season is going to be taking the rough with the smooth. Maybe it's the wake-up call we needed, I suppose, Dan, because we're not going to romp every game 4-0. But obviously winning 4-0 in your first game, that hope and anticipation is naturally going to be there, albeit it was Sheffield Wednesday, wasn't it? But I think that's kind of, in a weird way, I'm happy we had the wake-up call then, because now we're going into a really tough game tomorrow, which we'll talk on in a bit more detail in a bit. But, Ipswich away is going to be a very difficult game. And maybe that wake-up call after Saturday is maybe just needed at the right time in a weird way, I feel like.
Let's also say it's not just the next game. The next 4 games are going to all be very, very tough games. I know us 3 did our predictions, didn't we, in the last pre-recorded show we did about how many points we might get. We might be revisiting that one rather quickly, I suspect.
Yeah, can we look at those?
Maybe later if time allows. But yeah, I think it is a good thing it's came now. Edwards has clearly seen now as well firsthand kind of the mental block that the players have of playing at home as well. The home form is a big problem. So it's nice that he's seen that. He's seen the problems firsthand. Hopefully now he can start to put plans in place to get to the bottom of that. And yeah, as we said, good to get that wake-up call in early. Maybe shows him where, I don't think he's going to have loads of funds to spend in January. I think it is going to be maybe a couple of loanees and maybe 1 or 2 permanent players. But I think he knows now where the most important areas to strengthen that squad is going to be.
Just on the mental block that you mentioned there, Dan. Like, obviously, we speak about that, or it's all over social media in terms of the players having this mental block at home. Do we think it is that, or is that fear of the den one not there anymore? Are we in a transitional period now, where we are trying to be a bit more front foot? I know it's only 1 game, but are we now going to see it's not going to be as tight? But yeah, is there a mental block there, or have we just not performed well? What do you guys think? You go to all the home games, so do you think there's a mental blocker there? Do you think psychology there's still a scar?
I don't see it myself personally. I just think the atmosphere has always been flat at Den, so I don't think like it's nothing new to me. Like in the last 5 years, Bradford at home, playoffs. When there's a big game, Everton at home when we won 3-2. When there's like that occasion, there's always an atmosphere because that naturally just comes into it. But otherwise, it's the players bring you into the game, and that's it as fans. And last season under Rat was the same. Obviously, we played Sunderland on the weekend, and we lost them last year. Or did we draw in the end? It was a damp squid. Yeah, we drew at the Den against Sunderland, and there was like obviously the hope and anticipation. The Blackburn game for periods in the first half was electric because the players turned up and Ollie Burt decided to stick one in from 25 yards after darting down the right hand side, something he didn't do often last season. I think there's moments that bring you into the game as a fan, and that's no different. I don't really buy the whole there's a block, but I don't know what you think, Dan. I don't think the players are scared to turn up at the Den on Saturday because there's far from that kind of negativity from the first kick of the game. It's more so it gets to half time, there's boos and groans. So I feel like personally,
I think they have because of that poor form, I think they have created that mental block for themselves. I mean, the last game I can recall actually going to and the atmosphere being like proper Millwall atmosphere and getting that result that we all, kind of thrive off at home. I mean, you boys feel free to correct me. I'd say it was Sheffield United in February.
Yeah. I mean, even Stoke at home, it was the players got over the line themselves. We didn't really bring them over the line this year, I don't think either. I don't think there's been that Mill atmosphere for a long time, but that's not like something to be snobbed at. It's just it's not the same anymore. Like,
but it's not. But they don't have. Clearly, they don't have a problem with going and playing away from home because we've only lost once away from home all season, haven't we?
I'd say the away fans are more critical than the home fans as well, to be honest with you. I know that sounds stupid, but when you're there, like if you're getting battered, like the players, like they hear it more when they come to the away end than the home end. It's I don't know, like I don't buy this whole away the home home being a problem. I just think we've just been teams sitting deep against us at home. Teams will sit back, wait for us, soak up the pressure, and if you don't get an early goal, you're going to get what you did on Saturday, where
But
teams
because
get those
teams
chances.
play so often like that against us at the Den, we've got to find ways to break them down. Rowett really struggled to find ways to break teams down like that. Even Harris, when we was in League One, struggled to find ways to break teams down like that. It's now down to Joe Edwards to try and find a way to break teams down like that. We all hoped beating Rotherham when we beat them, and probably even beating Stoke as well, was going to be the catalyst to go on a home form, and it just hasn't turned out. Because I think we went and lost both of the next home games 3-0 after that. So I almost don't want to win a home game because I feel like we'll probably go on to lose the next one 3-0 after that.
But it might sound unpopular, but if George Honeyman's kind of freak effort in the first half goes in, we win that game Saturday, and I'm pretty confident saying that as well. Like, he hits the post and he gets crossbar in the post. Like, okay, we're leaving ourselves open still, but sorry again.
That was at 0-0. Sorry.
It wasn't 0-0. That's what I mean. Like, if Honeyman's effort in the first half goes in, I actually think we win that game. I think you need that moment to go for you at the Den, and then I think we probably end up winning that quite comfortably in a bizarre way. Although we gave away them chances as the game proceeded on, and I think at that point they already had that one chance where they ran through on goal, and Bart made a remarkable save, which we need to touch on. Obviously, Bart's performance on Saturday, because we lost 3-0, but I think he was our man of the match. But I think, like, in a weird way, if we scored that early goal on Saturday, I think we would have comfortably won it. I don't know. I feel like you need that kind of moment at home, but I personally don't buy that whole the Den's a place where the players don't like to play now, because I don't think it's that toxic. I'm there and I'm like, we're trying to get behind them, but there's not a lot there to shout about, really, to be honest. I don't know.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Another thing that I'd be keen to get your thoughts on for both of you is our away form versus our home form now. And obviously, you touched upon it there, Dan, and you kind of said that you don't want us to win at home because it might flip. But I do think there's one thing that Rowett should be very proud of is how he changed our away form and how successful we have been on the road, really, for a long time. Do either of you guys have worries about us now going away from home and trying to be a bit more on the front foot? Because, again, something I highlighted to my dad was as amazing a day as Sheffield Wednesday was. If you actually look back at the highlights, they had some decent chances. And Bart, again, made a couple of decent saves. And we kind of all said, if it was a better side, that we would have got, well, they could have stuck a couple away and it could have been a different game, right? So do you guys worry now that we're going to go there tomorrow, and if we want to play an open game, we could just get spanked because we're not used to, one, playing that open game, and two, we don't have the players defensively to do it?
Go on, Dan, you go first, mate.
I think one thing that Joe Edwards has said that's quite interesting is that he's mainly came in and worked on the attacking side of things because of the structure and off the ball work that Rowett's done. He didn't feel like that needed too much work. Well, obviously, I think he's probably seen that now and go, right, that probably does need a little bit of work. I just think the biggest problem that we have when teams attack us, because it's something we don't have really at all, and something most teams in this league have in abundance, is pacey players. We just don't have them pacey players to be able to make them runs, get in behind the defence. So that's where I think the problem lies for us in terms of creating them chances. Wednesday, when they made the chances themselves, it was Bannon getting the ball in the midfield. They had that quick lad Musaba who missed their best chance, didn't they? And that was from him using his pace to get in behind Murray Wallace. So I think the pace is a massive concern, and yeah, I just think that's something that obviously Joe's going to look to solve in the transfer window as well. He'll obviously have his contacts.
But okay, do you think Saturday was a freak though? So sorry, Ben. But you say about chances created, like we made an XG of 1.8 Saturday. I don't subscribe to XG too much, but it does give you an indication of how the game went. They had actually a 2.9, by the way, Coventry, which was not mentioned. But we made chances Saturday, Dan, and we probably should have scored a couple on Saturday, judging by that. I've seen us score 3 goals in XG of like 1.2 before. So, like, I don't know. Maybe that puts obviously XG to where it is. But we had chances Saturday, and we did create chances where we could have and should have done better.
Yeah, we did create chances. That's why I'm looking at this from a glass half full perspective. Because under Rowett, I don't think we would have lost that game 3-0, but I don't think we would have won the game. I still think we would have lost the game. I just don't think we'd have lost it by the 3 goals that we did lose it by overall.
Would you rather lost watching Joe Edwards Millwall or Gary Harris Millwall on Saturday?
I did actually enjoy watching the game a bit more. Now, if the season goes on and we continue losing games, then obviously that's going to be a problem because there is only so far pretty football can get you. So maybe I'm still riding the wave a little bit in terms of enjoying the football because there is only so far that you can go in terms of enjoying football and not winning matches.
I suppose. What about you, Ben? If the results stay the same, I think I'd rather watch Saturday personally. But
Yeah, massively. Look, I think it's key to point out here. I'm not for one. He's had 2 games in charge. I'm just raising some questions that I've got around. Yeah, this change of style. And we all kind of said it. It seemed to me that the chances we created Saturday and the football we played already, I could see what we were trying to do. Sheffield Wednesday, we could see what we were trying to do. In the final third now, we look like we have a bit more understanding of how we're going to create these chances, which for a long time, again, with Rowett, we kind of went, well, what are we trying to do in the final third? We're just trying to score from a set piece or a bit of luck or whatever it is. So, yeah, I'm not, look, we're 2 games into the Joe Edwards era. I'm not for one criticising at all. Just opening up some questions, really. But yeah, look, he does need to find that balance. And he said it in multiple interviews, right? He said he's got to try and find the balance of keeping that defensive solidity that we've had under Rowett, but trying to bring a more of a front-footed nature to it. He's getting paid the money to do it. How he's going to do it with the squad that we've got, that's, again, it's a big question, right?
do you think if Gary Rowett sitting there on Saturday, seeing them attack with 2 centre halves, leaving Harden and Cooper back, and then watching the other 4 bob on, do you think Rowett sitting there going, "So that's why I play through at the back, mate"? By the way, I agree. Like,
tomorrow in more detail, but again, speaking to my dad, I was like, "Do you know what? You go there tomorrow. If Rowett's in charge, I go, well, we could win that. We could just nick a 1-0 win. Like, we're going to sit in, we're going to get battered, but we could nick it."
Is this my chance to mention Plymouth away? That is my golden opportunity to mention Plymouth away.
I teed it up for you, but I look at tomorrow and go, if we're going to try and play open, expansive football against Ipswich, it concerns me.
But this was my concern about when I kept going actually for Wednesday to you boys. I was like, I just hope he doesn't reinvent the wheel when I'm talking about Edwards. Like, they're good players at what they do, but it's also the side of how it shapes together over time. So like, you can't just come in suddenly and then do 500 passes in the final half. Well, yeah, actually, we've done a lot of passes in the final third on Saturday, like because they gave us the ball and let us do it. I think the first 17 minutes, I was enjoying this. I was like, I've not seen Cooper hoof the ball once yet. I think it's maybe the in-game management when we do go 1-0 down. Maybe that's when it's got to change it or something, or that's maybe when he's got to kind of go, actually, let's maybe mix this up a little bit more because we just kept doing the same thing over and over again. But that's how he wants us to play. And actually, I enjoy watching us play that way. So I was not for 1 second begrudging it, to be honest. But ultimately, you lose 3-0 in the game. But I think maybe that's what it is. It's like, is it a stubbornness? Maybe he's going too far the other way. And that's what we've got to be careful of. But again, like you say, it's only 2 games. So you can't get too carried away by it, I suppose. But I mean, the goals we gave away were poor, but there was a carbon copy to a lot of them where we left them space or they got through on goal on the break and then Bart pulled off a save and then there was a rebound. Do you know what I mean? That felt like the echo of the game, really.
Yeah, I mean, the first chance they had, I think we spoke about it earlier, the first chance they had was we had 4 players in their box, basically on their 6-yard box, pressing them to try and win the ball. And they went 1 pass into midfield. Ben Sheaf made a great pass to Hadji. Hadji's through 3 passes. And then we're defending 1-on-1 with Hadji versus, I think it was Coops. And you're just going, well, there's only one winner in that foot race. So that's where you need to just try and draw that line. It's great being front-footed and want to try and win it really hard the pitch, and we're going to play that way, great. But again, we keep saying it, we need to find that element of in-between, I think, during this transition period.
But then we also turn around and go, don't read as well, like, we've got good players here, so fuck it, let's give them a game. So it's like, it's that fine balance. I agree with you, but then maybe if there's drummed into them over time, maybe we will have a more of an advantage over them. I don't know. He's only had, 2 full weeks with them, really? So you can't... That's why I don't read too much into it, but then I'm going to Ipswich tomorrow and I'm thinking, fuck me, it can be a cricket score. But then part of me is like, well, we had the wake-up call on Saturday, so you never know.
I'm going to throw a question at you two now. It's something we discussed on the Sunday night show. It was, would you change the back 4? If Edwards wants to play with this higher line, I know I've mentioned pace about 1 million times in this show already, and I'm going to mention it again, but to play that higher line, you need quick players. Is there an argument that Ryan Leonard could come back in possibly to the centre of defence? is there an argument that you would play Danny McNamara possibly as a left back, or maybe him on the right, Brooke Norton-Cuffy on the left? I think when Stephen picked his team, I think he actually put Ryan Leonard in at left back. So is there an argument for you boys that Leonard comes back into the team and maybe even Danny McNamara comes into the team as well? Because I just feel like, I mean, for those of you who don't know, I've just came straight off an Ipswich show, and that was basically, I don't like slandering Murray Wallace, but it was pretty much a Murray Wallace slander session. So
I felt for Murray Wallace on Saturday though. He was sold a short straw because it is literally go press the team and then you're 1-on-1 defending. That's what I'm saying. Like these players can't defend 1-on-1. Like you got
no.
you got Cooper, Murray Wallace, even Norton
Well,
Cuffy. Ask them to defend 1-on-1 is suicidal. But then it's like, well, we're going to compensate for it by scoring goals. And on another day, we should have scored a couple goals on Saturday, and then we lost it 3-2. It wouldn't look as bad then, would it? So,
but what do you think on the defence? Would you possibly be bringing Leonard back into the
I
team?
wouldn't be putting Leonard left back. I'll tell you that much for free.
I wouldn't be putting Leonard. I would even be tempted if he wants to play with this high line. I would be tempted. I would be tempted to possibly drop Cooper, and I think I picked my back four as Danny Mack at right back, and then Harding and Leonard centre backs, and then Norton Cuffy on the left.
Well, here's another thing for you though. Yeah, I don't mind that to be fair, but I think I'd argue as well. Although I love the Norton Saville as a combination, if you're playing a mobile midfield, is there an argument for Billy Mitchell to be in there because Mitchell will get you up and down the pitch and keep going in the midfield as well. We've heard about how he gets up and down. He's one of the fittest players in the pit and in the team, and in pre-season he's always making the front running and stuff like that. Maybe we need to mix up in midfield, have more legs in the midfield as well because Saville. I love George Saville, but maybe if we're going from back to front and we're looking to play that kind of high tempo football, is George Saville the answer for that team? Probably not.
I'll tell you what, let's sit on this, let's brainstorm it, and then at the end of the show we'll do how we would line up and we'll do score predictions for Ipswich at the end.
Yeah, I agree.
We'll sit on it. We'll give all of us a little bit of thinking time.
Well, we've obviously spoke a bit about Saturday, but then I suppose Ipswich is the answer, and you've obviously sat through 15 minutes before you went online into the Ipswich show today. So what were the Ipswich boys saying, and what's the vibe they're saying ahead of tomorrow's game?
I think they're a little bit nervous because they know obviously we're quite good away from home. They've had a little bit of a wobble. They're coming into this game off a defeat as well. But one thing that they all seem pretty confident on is their ability to score goals, which is something they do at Portman Road. If you look at some of the wins they've had at Portman Road, it's been, we might go up there and score 2, but they'll go and score 4 or 5 at Portman Road. It's going to be, we're just at Portman Road, we're going to score more goals than you. That seems to be their strategy when they play at home. So
Dan says that, and I'm instantly going to head and seeing Ipswich's recent form. So since the turn of the year, they've played Stoke home won 2-0, played Leeds and lost 4-3, played Cardiff and won 3-2, played Blackburn and won 4-3, played Wolves and won 3-2, played Hull and won 3-0. Oh my Christ, this has gone under the radar for me a little bit, and it probably shouldn't have. It shows how much I pays the other teams. They played Preston and won 4-2, Plymouth and won 3-2. They lost 3-1 to Fulham in the Cup, and then they beat Swansea 3-2 most recently.
So they've pretty much scored 3 goals in every home game, near enough.
Dan, I've got a match ticket and tray ticket going for 25 quid. You can take it off me right this second, mate. Have it. It leaves Stratford at 4 o'clock tomorrow, mate. It's yours. Have it. I mean, you're guaranteed goals here, mate. Jesus Christ.
You are.
I think it's we're conceding.
Not that I'm a good punter, but I'm thinking both teams score by halves tomorrow. I'll put that one out there now. I wonder what the odds on that is. Ben, what do you think hearing that, mate? Talk to me about Ipswich.
I was concerned about it before we come on and we were chatting, but that worries me. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, as you said, mate, that's gone under the radar for me.
But Ben, we've not lost since Norwich, so you know.
No, it's true. We have only lost one away game this season.
Come on.
Yeah, I mean, you got to go into it with a bit of confidence. As you said, look, this isn't all doom and gloom. It wasn't like we lost 3-0. We didn't struggle Saturday. We did create chances, and as you said, mate, Honeyman's goes in. It's a different game. I think the first goal is going to be very important. Looking at that tomorrow, if we can go 1-0 up, will it change it? Will it chase? Will they start chasing the game by the sounds of it?
That is one thing that I must list off all their scores, and not in all of them, but in most of them, they have conceded goals.
But
is that our glimmer of light?
my concern is, as we like to speak about on a regular basis, we don't exactly have the most prolific centre forwards available to us. So are we?
Hang on, is this you giving Tom Bradshaw some slander? I've seen Omer's head suddenly moved up.
Right now, he's not exactly prolific at the minute, is he? But neither's old Nisbet. So and Fleming's not exactly bashing him in. So yeah, that's my only concern: is are we going to be able to take advantage of any defensive frailties that they have? Don't.
I was too. I was surprised you didn't give me too much of a nibble on Saturday. When I think I texted halfway through the first half. I've had a few bits pre-game, but I'm like, Tom Bradshaw can't fucking turn when he gets the ball at his feet, and I was like, hang on, I'm going to text Ben right now.
Yesterday, when everyone was like just moaning about it, I went, like, I'm not even defending anymore.
Obviously, one thing to note on Saturday, Ben is obviously our northern correspondent, so wasn't at the Den, and he did put a message into the group chat about 3:20 and said how we play. And I was like, attacking wise, not too bad. We're having a lot of the ball, creating a couple of chances. Defensively, questionable, and probably within the next minute, I think they scored.
Yeah, you gave us a kiss of life.
I had to go back and retype in defensively, very questionable all of a sudden.
Do you know what? I think
I've got a bad habit of doing that this season. Actually, I've done it. I messaged my mate, and my mate's like, "How's it go?" I messaged him like literally during the Leeds game. I was like, "This has been a tough watch," and 2 minutes later, I had to go back to him. A very tough watch all of a sudden. So maybe I just need to stop messaging everyone during the game. To be completely honest.
But are you surprised we lost 3-0 Saturday? I know we're talking about Ipswich, but are you surprised we lost 3-0? Okay, 3-0 maybe is a surprise, but I'm not surprised that, nearly a sellout, ramping it up. Millwall always lose at home when that happens. This is what happens, right? But then I also wouldn't be surprised if we get a result tomorrow, which is what that idiot.
We are party poopers, aren't we? We like a party pooper, Omer.
That's it. Or the Ackerbusters, as they like to say. We are an Ackerbuster. I think we are that sort of side.
We are a serial Ackerbuster, to be fair.
And if that is something to hold on to, it's why I'm going to be sitting on that train tomorrow, going up to Ipswich, thinking we're going to fucking do it. We're not, but we could.
Based on this conversation tonight so far, we've said our centre forwards aren't prolific. You've already called both teams to score, so he's going to go both teams to score in both halves. Tom Bradshaw, anytime goal scorer, and Millwall result at full time.
I tell you what, I'd take 6-4. I'd take 6-4 Ipswich tomorrow. If you told me right now it finishes 6-4 Ipswich, I'd take 6-4.
Get 4 goals.
I would take 6-4 Ipswich right now. You just would, right?
Yeah.
Because it could be worse. It could be 6-0 Ipswich, and that's the fear in my head. I mean, they've got good players, haven't they, as well? I think, even like the youngsters they got on loan from like the likes of Chelsea, Omari Hutchinson and stuff like that. They've got serious players in there, Dan.
Yeah.
Give me some more insight. What else were they saying? Come on, I want to know what they were saying.
They did say who's the main concern, and I said Connor Chaplin. I think anyone who's kind of looked at Ipswich this season, I think he knows that they know that he's the danger man, and he's exactly the type of player that we struggle to defend against, just because he's really quick, really good on the ball, and he'll pick up them kind of pockets on the edge of the area, which seems to be the kind of no man's land between our defence and midfield. So that seems to be a problem, and also their right winger. Sorry, Murray Wallace.
Do you know what's scary? They've scored 36 goals all season, and Connor Chaplin's only got 6 of them. So and he's their top goal scorer. There's goals.
There is goal. They just breathe goals, that team. So
I think I'm filling you with so much confidence, Ben, ain't I?
I think Ben might be. Oh, he's here. He's here. Northern Wi-Fi.
In and out. Can you put 50p in the meter, mate, and come back to us, please?
Yeah, I need to top up the meter. Sorry. I'm just sat here listening to all this, going, for fuck's sake.
At least you're not going, Ben. At least you get the comforts of Sky in your own living room.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I guess so. No, look, we got to go into it semi-confident and just hope we catch one on off day. Can we go for that?
Yeah, that's exactly what we'll go for.
We like catching teams in their off day.
Yeah, we'll go with that one then.
I mean, they lost 2-0 to West Brom at the weekend. Come on.
They're going to want a reaction. There is that. But they're good at home and we're good away. So, Omer, you've got your phone there. Where are they in the home table?
Oh, they're like top 2, I think it was. I'll tell you right now.
Yeah, that makes sense. They are in the top 2 of the league.
No, yeah. So they're joint first with Ipswich. So yeah, there you go.
Ipswich are joint first with Ipswich. Okay.
No, sorry, with Leicester. Sorry, Leicester.
Oh, we've got in a few weeks. Don't worry, Omer. You're stupid enough to go to Ipswich. I'm stupid enough to go to Leicester, so it's fine.
Well, this is it, mate. This is why I take a half day, because I know if I finish at 12:30, I can consume about 8 pints at least by the time I get to Ipswich. Then I can have 4 more pints after that, and then the result won't matter at that point. I'm just gonna be like, I'm here for a good time, not a long time, right? And if that's not how you live in a Millwall away day, you're doing it wrong. I'm just putting it out there now. Because then if you win, it's the best thing in the world. If you lose, you're pissed enough to not care. And then you wake up next day and you go, did that really happen? Did we really lose 5-0? Yeah, we did. What are you feasibly expecting though, Dan? Like what are you really what do you think we're gonna get? What's gonna be served up to
I
us?
do think there's going to be goals, but
Should we go for what our team's gonna be now? So what do you think he's gonna make changes? Let's speculate to
we've had
accumulate.
10 minutes. Do you want me to go first? Because I pretty much did it on
Yeah.
Sunday anyway. Right,
I
I'll go
want to hear it
first.
again.
So I'll go with Bialkowski in goal. It's going to be. I'm sticking with 4-2-3-1. We have discussed other formations. I don't think he's going to do that just yet. I'm kind of going to pick I want to kind of pick the team that Joda is going to go for, but defence, I'm just going to pick the defence I want. So the defence I want is Danny Mack at right back, Harding and Leonard centre halves, and Brooke Norton Cuffey on the left. I'd stick with Casper and Saville. Go Essay on the right, Watmore on the left, probably Fleming in the 10, and Nisbet up front.
See, the one I definitely agree with making a change is SA coming in. Like, I actually feel like a footballing game, because Ipswich do play football, and they're gonna have a go. I feel like the likes of SA, even a Maku, could
I think
be.
you've got to start one of them. I can understand not starting the other one because Watmore's coming back to fitness now, and I think we've seen enough of Watmore on his day to know he's a good player, but we just don't see him on his day as probably often as we'd like to. But I think he probably should have a start tomorrow if he's fit enough.
I agree, and if we're gonna assume that players are gonna have chances and they're gonna come at us, and we've got him on the counter attack, the likes of Fleming, the likes of Essay, the likes of Maku are gonna make a difference. I really do think that. Ben, what do you reckon, mate? What sort of changes do you think he'll make ahead of the game against Ipswich?
I'm just looking again at what the side was Saturday. Do you know? I'm struggling. I know I get the point for getting SA in. Do we think we're anticipating Ipswich going to have more of the ball than us? I'm assuming they played decent football. Is it a game to start SA where we're not going to have as much as the ball? I get the going forward piece. I've probably got my Gary Rowett hat on here, haven't I? I'm thinking, do we start Longman again just because he is a bit more defensive and can help Muzza in that left wing position? I like Honeyman. He gives us energy. Again, I think he stays in the side, certainly for a game like tomorrow. I'm not bought into making changes like putting Norton Cuffey left back and bringing Murray Wallace in or playing Leonard left back. I just think that's so unbalanced for me.
I just don't think you can persist with Murray Wallace after the game he had. But the other catch-22 is who on earth do you put there? The only other natural left back we've got at the club at the minute is Adam Malachi.
Yeah, how far away is Joe Brighton?
God knows. But no, we ain't heard anything. We ain't heard diddly score pretty much.
We haven't heard anything, which assumes he's 100% out for tomorrow, right? And he's
I don't think we'll see him till the new year.
He'll be in a Putney coffee shop tomorrow.
My issue I've got with Malachi is obviously we've seen him in and around the first team squad just from the pictures and the videos on the website, but he wasn't even in the squad, sadly.
He played 45 minutes for the youth team on Monday.
But that's my point, Dan. So Edwards would have now seen him for a couple of weeks. If he's played for the youth team and he's not even in the squad,
yeah, that's true.
Is he now going? Well, he's not good enough. Or he's not ready. Whatever he thinks, if he would have come in, he would have been in this. Or if he's going to be waiting in the wings to come in for Murray Wallace, he would have been in the squad, right? That's
true.
my concern.
Yeah,
fair point.
Do we even have a to change it?
But as Stephen said, I don't think it could have been any worse than Murray Wallace was at the weekend.
Players have bad games though. If I back anyone to come back from a bad game, it is Murray Wallace. Oddly enough, I know he's had a lot of downward turns since he won Player of the Season a couple of years ago. And I get that, but I do think if I back anyone to play out of a bad form or bad game, I do back Murray Wallace to come out of that the other end. also he's not a left back. Like he's not a natural left back. So I do feel for him in a sense there. And now he's suddenly been a championship left back for the last 3 or 4 years. I don't know. I do feel for him in a sense there.
Yeah, I have done for a while, mate. To be fair, he's kind of made that position his own, isn't he? In a sense of he's not a left back, but he's tried to play left back, and he's kind of learnt his craft to get against wingers in the Championship, where the Championship level of ability has only gone up in recent years. He did. I mean, look, he had a good game at Sheffield Wednesday. Let's not forget that. So I know he hasn't been great for a while. I don't know who plays wide for them, but I think you said, Dan, that
Wes Burns plays on the right, and I think they said it'll probably be Nathan Broadhead on the left.
Good players, man. Good players.
Yeah, both Wales international.
Everyone's got all players going forward.
Yeah.
Right? It's championship now, and I just, I just don't. I think if I had to make a decision between playing Norton Cuffy left back, bringing Danny Mack in at right back, or playing Ryan Leonard, I'd probably go with Ryan Leonard.
I think that's a very valid point, to be fair. I also threw possibly the point of I know Harding's obviously played at fullback a lot in his career. I don't know if he's played at right. I don't know how familiar he is with the left, but if he's played on the left before, is that possibly an option, and bringing Leonard back into the centre half role? Because I thought Leonard, up until his injury, probably would have been in my top 2 for player of the season vote.
Yeah. I mean, I won't disagree with it. I mean, oddly enough, none of us have mentioned Sean Hutchinson. Are we assuming Sean Hutchinson is now just writ off now under Joe Edwards and not going to get a game? Assuming we're going to play this style of play. Is that the end of the likes of him, or what do you guys think there?
I just feel like he's kind of heading towards his Alex Pearce kind of stage of his career with us now, to be completely honest. He's a great player, and I think having his leadership around the dressing room, at least until the end of the season, I don't know when his contract's up, but at least having it till the end of the season is only going to be beneficial, I think, for Joe while he's trying to bed in and get the players to do what he wants to do, to have someone who knows the club as well as Hutch. But I just think, in terms of playing this new style of football, I don't think Hutch is going to be what he wants. He's not, again, we spoke about pace. He's not the most mobile of centre-halves going. Never really seen him play brilliantly when he's had the ball at his feet. And on top of that, injuries are just a constant problem, let alone is he 32, 33 now?
Well, not to challenge you too much. We won 2 out of 4 games when Sean Hutchinson was in. I'll take a 50% win record when he played at the start of the season. I agree with you, and that's why I'm saying we're assuming that's it with Sean Hutchinson, because you're asking to cover ground and play high up the pitch. That's not his game, and I think that's the same with Cooper. So it's like you're gonna have Cooper because he's the younger option and he's the taller option, offers more maybe in the other opposition box and more defensively in a sense. But I'd argue if like you was going combinations and it wasn't a height threat, part of me would go with Hutch and Harding, for example, because Hutch is that leader at the back compared to Cooper. That's one thing Hutch has going for him there. We've not seen him play for a long time, so I don't think I'd throw him in a deep end for Ipswich away personally. But I think there is still a place for Hutchinson there. I don't know what you think, Dan. No, not Dan, sorry, Ben.
Yeah, I'm kind of 50-50 with Hutch. Like, yeah, I 100%. I think he's well worth his place in the squad. But I do tend to agree with Dan now. I think he's just going to be coming into his Alex Pearce role now. I think pace is going to be the biggest thing.
But what is that based on? Back to both of you there. So what is that? Because why is it the Alex? Because we've not seen Alex Pearce performances from Sean Hutchinson. I don't think we have.
I just think he's getting older. That's the main thing.
So Sean Hutchinson was here, and then he went to here, but he's not down there. Where Alex Pearce went from like middle ground to very low ground very quickly. I've not seen a very low ground Sean Hutchinson performance for him to be coined. He's in his Alex Pearce era. I don't know if I'm completely barking up the wrong tree there, but I've not seen a Hutchinson performance where I'm going, oh my days, Hutchinson's past it. It's not that he's not been great, but he's not been like terrible like Pearce was towards the end, Ben. I don't know. I disagree with what you say there.
No, I don't. Not performance wise. I think more now. I just think the amount of time he's had away in the last year, isn't he? He comes back. He'll have 4 or 5 games, then he'll get injured again, or 10 games. Do you know what I mean? We can't seem to keep him fit, or he can't seem to keep himself fit, and is that age now just keeping up playing too much of a part on his body? We don't know. We're only guessing, right? But I'm just thinking now, and when I say his Alex Pearce role, I just mean, do we need to move on from what is he, 32, Hutch?
33, I think.
Do we just need to move on from a 33-year-old Sean Hutchinson and say you're in and around the squad still? a bit part player. But yeah, if we're going to play this again, high line pressing football, do we want Hutch on the half turn chasing wingers and centre forwards? I don't know
I completely agree there. I completely agree.
We're going to see the best of Sean Hutchinson. So that's all I'm basing it on, mate. I don't. For me to say an Alex Pearce role, I don't think it's based on his performances per se. I think it's more now his injuries, his age, and the style of play now that he's going to be asked to potentially do. In terms of footballing, I think he's a very good footballing centre half. When Rowett came in, he was one that was playing passes into the midfield or quite playing decent balls out wide. I think he's a good ball playing centre half. I just think, as I say, the way we're going to play now and set up, I don't think that lends to a 33-year-old Sean Hutchinson and his seeing the best of him.
So I do agree. I just challenged the whole Alex Pearce era now because I think it's hard to disrespect someone he's been here 7 years now, 7 years.
I also
it feels disrespectful to put him in the Alex Pearce role and just say
I also
I'm
think
not
that's
seeing it enough.
I'd say that's a testament to how far the club's came that we're already saying he's in his Alex Pearce era. So I'm saying he is better than where Alex Pearce was. But I think in terms of the quality we've got in the squad, it's harder for him because the squad is better than what it was.
I think this is getting interesting then. So who's a better central defender, Wes Harding or Sean Hutchinson? Genuine questions to the pair of you.
I think right now, if you were saying who would I rather have when they were at the peak of their powers, I'm saying Hutchinson. But I think right now, for what this squad needs, I'm probably going to be picking Wes Harding. He's better on the ball and he's quicker, which is two things that you need probably to be more of a modern day centre half. And I think you're going to need to be in a Joe Edwards team.
True, I don't disagree, but
I would
say Hutchinson's a better defender.
I think he might be. I'm not saying Harding's a bad defender at all. I'm not saying Hutch isn't a better defender. I think in different circumstances, like I think if you said to me, who would I rather start a game? Harding. If you said to me, you're winning 1-0 with 5 minutes to go, who would you rather bring on, Harding or Hutchinson? I'm saying Hutchinson every day of the week.
I do like Harding as well, by the way. I'm not disrespecting Harding in that sense. But, I mean, Ben, if anything, we're going to find out what Harding's made of. He starts tomorrow against 25 goals at home Ipswich, I suppose, right?
And look, this is your question is just it's just a talking point. It's by no means slating Harding, right? Because he's been superb for us this year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm again probably with Dan. I think if it's a peak of their powers, I'm going with Hutch all day. Right now, who do I pick? I think you just have to pick Harding because between Hutch and Coops and Murray Wallace, that's looking like a very slow back.
Could you imagine if we rock up with that back three tomorrow against players like Chaplin, Burns, and Broadhead?
And you're going to have Norton Cuffy bombing on down the right-hand side, playing in their 6-yard box, leaving them free exposed.
Carlos Edwards is still knocking about as well in the non-league as well. Bring him back and then just get that back four in. Murray Wallace is.
I just.
What's Sean Cummings up to these days?
We need him on. Justin Hoyt, what's he doing? We'll play 3 right backs.
Bring back Danny Sender. Danny Sender was the top right back.
We can make a team full of right backs. Alan Dunn's still got a bit of fitness being a coach.
Yeah, Gavin Hoyt, Justin Hoyt.
With the Hutch thing, it's an interesting debate. I'm just very much in the camp of there needs to be an end of a cycle, and I'm not saying he's been a bad player because he's been a fantastic servant for the club, but we're in a fresh new era now, and the football we're trying to play is different. Is it going to lend itself? Even Coops, that's a conversation. Like those sorts of players, I think we just need to change now who we are trying to go after, I guess.
I think the one thing we'll all agree on is the number one target in the January window. If Charlie Quez was available, I'd put anything and everything on signing Charlie Quez in the January window. What that is or what that materialised to be, or whether
we putting 2 and 2 together, going is England set up, everyone's going to him, etc. And
I honestly think he would be, if you're looking at that team and how he wants to play and how, trying to condense the lines and play out from the back and everything that adds up to Charlie Quezwell signing in January. I'm not saying that means we're getting him, but if you're Millwall and he becomes available, even if it's like overstretching your budget a bit, you've got to get Charlie Quezwell in that window.
Are you talking about signing him, or as in
every sense, whatever ways available in, mate?
I'd be shocked if his agent's already not on the phone to Millwall trying
this
to.
This is what I mean. He's not even in the matchday squads, is he, Dan? He's not even in the matchday squads, is he?
No,
I don't believe.
No, he's got to be getting splinters in his bum, to be completely honest.
It's ridiculous. Like,
he's not on the bench, is he?
and look how good he was for us when he was on loan last year, and how good Cooper was next to him as well. Like, I think personally, to end the Hutchinson thing, I think he's getting written off a bit unfairly in this call, in this podcast as well. I do get the rationale behind everything you boys have both said, but there is no argument there that you guys have put to me to suggest that Hutchinson's actually passed it, apart from the assumption he's 33 and he's passed it, and we're all assuming Cooper should be the option there. Cooper's just signed a long-term deal, and I actually don't disagree with what you boys are saying. Everything there is suggesting Hutchinson is the one on the way out, but I've not seen a single thing from Hutchinson to say that he's written off just yet. And I do think we'll see him back in. I do think he'll get his opportunity. And I also think he's the type of player that he gets his opportunity and then we're all like, fuck me. Remember how good he is. But then also 3 games later he'll get injured, which is Sean Hutchinson. That's the problem. And that's why I don't disagree with what you boys are saying, but it's just I feel it's a bit unfair on the Hutchinson bandwagon there, personally. But anyway.
Just to be clear on that, I did say last year that I thought Coops and Hutch were the best centre-half pairing in the league, near enough. and they were, and they both.
Yeah.
I don't. There was a period where Rowett and we were doing so well that there weren't many sides I didn't think either of them would get in. That's how highly I rate Hutch. But I just think now with the way that we're playing, I think, as I keep saying, I just think it lends itself now to a different
natural progression of the
story. I think so.
Yeah.
But you have to come. I keep saying you have to come to an end of a cycle. Even the Ryan Leonards of the world, like, he's fantastic, he's brilliant, but we can't have him out for 2/3 of the season because he's always injured. I know this one's a freak one, but we've said for the last probably 2 years, he would have won Player of the Season if he weren't injured. But
we've already ruled out that line in this show.
You know what I mean? We're putting armoured staff, so he does get injured, unfortunately. So there needs to be a point where we move on. Bradshaw ain't scoring for us. He's 31. Okay, we need to move on. So that needs to happen.
Clip that.
Mickey, that's what I say. Did you hear that? Did you hear that?
Just wanted to get it out there.
Lucky for you, Dan. I'm editing this one, so I'll make sure that goes out there. Don't worry about that.
Mate. That's going straight on our socials tomorrow morning.
Well, this is I suppose that's it, isn't it? I mean, you mentioned Leonard there, but is Leonard going to look as good in a Joe Edwards Millwall side compared to how he does in a Rowett Millwall side? I don't want to go on these debates too much or too long, but
he's going everywhere at this rate.
Do you think Leonard actually looked that good? Do you think he looked that good because he was in a Rowett setup? Like, is he going to look at, if we're playing that sort of style play?
I like it. I think he's athletic. He'll get.
I think so too. I think
Leonard would be fine in this system.
I hope so.
Mate, is there an argument with someone like Casper next to him? But I had a problem end of last season with Leonard and Saville being in our midfield. I thought having them two in there, we kind of lacked the control because I thought with the way Saville's kind of changed his play style, I thought they were kind of two similar players. Is there an argument that maybe Leonard could come in to that midfield two in front of the defence alongside Casper?
Potentially. I mean, I want Billy Mitchell to get a chance under Joe Edwards and see what happens personally, but I don't see why not.
You want Billy Mitchell and Danny McNamara back in, proper Wall players.
Of course, mate. 4-4-2, Brexit, Millwall. There we go. That's it.
In terms of Billy Mitchell, though, compared to Danny Mac, this isn't Danny Mac slander shows, but I don't think he's good enough technically to force his way in front of Joe Edwards. Sorry, force his way in front of Norton Cuffy for Joe Edwards. But I think Billy Mitchell is technically good enough to be able to do it. Do you know what I mean?
So too. I think Billy Mitchell is going to get his chance and it will surprise us. But we've not seen Alan Campbell yet either. He's not even played a minute under him.
The amount of opportunities we get down that right-hand side and poor old Danny Mac just humps it straight into the stands or doesn't beat the first man. I think Joe Edwards would end up having a heart attack.
Probably sub Alan Myers on as a right back.
Or just think, Ben, like, under the right tuition and the right coach, Danny Mac could be in for a shout for the Ballon d'Or next year. You never know, mate.
Yeah, possibly.
And a pig's just gone flying past outside my window, mate.
If I'm betting out the two, who do I think has got more chance of succeeding in the Joe Edwards side? I'm going my house and car on Billy Mitchell.
I'm not going to bet you back on that one.
That's a bold statement, to be fair. It is a bold statement. I do think I agree, but that is big stakes.
Yeah, true.
I mean, maybe I should bet you on that because I don't own a house at the minute, so I could be quids in it.
He's got more of a chance of coming at right back than Billy Mitchell getting into midfield and playing more games.
Sorry, say that again.
So you think Danny Mack's got more chance of getting in at right back than Billy Mitchell has in a Joe Edwards Millwall team?
I think Mitchell is the more likely one, and I won't disagree with that. but I don't think Danny Mack's story is over just yet. All right.
Mitchell had a spell at right back once. There you go. Kill two birds with one stone.
There
Get
you
him in the
go.
team and get him a right back.
No, but no, not in all seriousness. I just think he's again the way we're going to want to play now. I think the technical players are going to come. They're just going to come good, aren't they? Or they're going to see you're going to see more benefit out of the more technical players. We all have said it a million times. Danny Mack's great defensively. He's a great right back. He's not a great right wing back or a wing back.
Or we lose our next 4, and then suddenly we need a Millwall type performance, and then Danny Mack and Mitch will both come back in, and then we go on a run.
I'm not massively against playing Danny right back and playing Norton Cuffy in that further advanced position. I've got no issues with that. As long as you say to Danny, you're staying at right back. Do not move from right back.
And I'd agree with that. To be honest. I think 1-for-1 defending, he's very good at that, but going forward is his problem, and that's why he's not. That's why he's not in a better side than Millwall, as we always coin those sort of things.
Yeah, defensively, he's again 1-on-1. He's up there. He's a very good right back. Whereas we keep saying it's in that final third that he needs to improve.
Definitely agree. I mean, I feel like we've made a 50-minute shout out somehow for this. And if everyone's listening, enjoying this, and there's lots of conversation in there, pipe in into what you guys have made of it, and obviously where you'd disagree with us, I suppose. I mean, the main talk point I feel like we've got onto inadvertently there was Sean Hutchinson. We did want to talk about Sunderland, but I feel like we've talked enough about Millwall and all our strengths and weaknesses at this point.
We haven't spoken about anything, but we've spoken about everything.
Yeah, well, this is it. This is a fly on.
Just free, doesn't it?
But this is a fly on the wall podcast where you're sitting there and having a chit chat, because this is what we should be about. I feel like, because that's the reason why I do this personally, because it's just debating Millwall with people that are like-minded. So,
while we're here, before we move on to the eventual conclusion of this show, I'm just going to shout out, by the way, Millwall FC Argentina, who's just tweeted. If you don't follow him, by the way, he does tweet. He's very funny. He's just tweeted goal 89 Bradshaw, Ipswich 7, Millwall 1.
Back, I'll take that.
Ends on the pitch if that happens.
I think it's not. You know what's scary? It's not unreasonable to think that as well. Do you know what? I do. Okay, we'll come into conclusion here, Dan, and you've set me up quite nicely for it. Then, what is your prediction for the game away to Ipswich? People listen to this on the way to Ipswich. They're all thinking the same as us, and they've listened to us 50 minutes thinking, "Cool, it's going to be 8-0 Ipswich." But what is your prediction, mate, for this game?
I know. I do think, to be fair, I have been pretty positive, but the positive is going to have to end now. So I think, I think it's going to be a decent performance. I do think we'll lose 3-1 though. I think we'll be well in the game, but I just think they'll go 2 up. We'll get 1 back, and then we'll go gung-ho for it, and they'll knock us out on the counter attack.
Ben,
2-2.
Oh, I'll take that right now, mate. Honestly,
he's gone for a Desmond.
I would take a Desmond in a heartbeat right now. I'll tell you what, I'll take a 2-2.
We went for it earlier. They score goals, but it seems like 2 goals. So
Ben, I suppose this leads us on to the next big question of the night. Omer's just said he'd love a Desmond. He'd take a 6-4 loss. Omer, what is your score prediction, mate?
I would take a 6-4 loss. I'll stick by it, but I'm gonna go Millwall 2. Ipswich 0, Danny Mack to get both goals. There you go.
He's done it.
Do you know what, Sonic? You've gone lost. He's gone draw. We're gonna win it. We're gonna win. We're gonna shit house it. We're gonna win 1-0. They're gonna go down to 10 men the first 10 minutes and still be the better side. And then we're gonna win in the second half 1-0.
Did someone say shit house in a 2-0 away win against the newly promoted team? Have you just teed it up for me to mention I went Plymouth away again?
We're gonna win it 1-0. 1-0 Millwall. And it's going to be back against the walls, and somehow they're not going to score and have an XG of 7, and we've still won it 1-0. There you go.
To be fair, Bialkowski's going to want to have an absolute worldie, isn't he, against his former club?
Are we assuming he's starting? I don't think we really spoke about that too much, but he's starting,
well, right? They said Sarkic was back, but he wasn't even on the bench. So, and I think even despite losing 3-0, it'll be incredibly harsh to drop Bart. So for me, he keeps his place.
He stays in for you as well, Ben, I reckon?
100%, mate. If it wasn't for Bart on Saturday, it would have been 7. He's made 3 or 4 unbelievable stops. So, yeah, you can't drop him. And we don't know the Sarkic where he's at, right? He obviously wasn't in the squad, as Dan said. So, yeah, be interesting to see what we do moving forward, because the way Bart is playing, it sounds stupid after a 3-0 loss, but he did help us not make it look embarrassing. So yeah, you can't be dropping Bart.
I'm going to finish this on a positive note for us now, boys. Two stats now about Joe Edwards. One, he's got a 50% win rate. That must be one of the highest, if not the highest, managerial win percentage in the club's history. And two, he's still got a positive goal difference.
You missed a very important one. And a third, he's got a 100% win rate away from home.
Oh, here we go. We're winning tomorrow night then.
And with an average goals of 4. So, just saying.
And we also won our last trip to Ipswich on New Year's Day, 2019. Where else do I need to finish here? And also we won just
Someone can't get Tom Elliott.
I saw us score the best goal ever in pre-season when we won 3-0. Phoebe scored it in pre-season. Our first game back allowed to watch them. There you go. George Evans even played well at the game. So if there's any omens in the sky, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen today.
I tell you what, it'd look all right in a Joe Evans side.
Oh, steady, Ben, steady. I'm the one drinking here, mate, not you, all right?
Definitely need more Wrexham. He's playing for Wrexham.
Sorry,
Evans. I think he's playing for Wrexham. Yeah,
I think he's playing.
Where's Tom Elliott actually at these days? In all seriousness, has he got a club these days?
See, as you asked the question, and people will probably tune out by now, so I might as well quick look see where he is. Let's have a look. Tom Elliott, footballer. Google search tells me Tom Elliott plays for. Any guesses before we go?
Nobody. He was at Salford, a couple of years ago. He's got to be in the National League or something like that now, hasn't he?
Supposedly he's got no club, according to Wikipedia.
When was the last time he was employed by a club?
Bradford City on loan.
Was that end of last season?
2022.
And how
might have retired.
He might have done. If he hasn't announced it. Tragic times. The streets will never forget Tom Elliott.
Maybe I was about to say maybe we need to put an appeal out for Tom Elliott. Maybe we have our show title after all of this. Where is Tom Elliott?
Tom Elliott, if you want to come on the show and join me, Dan, and Ben, you're more than welcome to join us and talk about Leeds away when you scored that third goal in a 3-3 draw and a 4-3 win. You scored the third goal. I don't forget.
No, we don't. He actually scored twice against Ipswich. He scored against Ipswich in the 3-2 away win at Portman Road and also the 4-3 loss at the Den.
I remember him scoring some very good goals for us. Honestly, he's an absolute baller. So this is a cry.
Tom, if you're watching, mate, this is an appeal for you to come on the show.
Also, what are you doing tomorrow, Tom? Can you get up to Portman Road?
we need you at right back.
I will bring his kit.
All right, then that's us for today. Dan, thank you for joining, mate, as always. And yeah, roll on.
Thank you very much. Good crack as ever, Chips. Good crack as ever, chaps. And, chips. I'm hungry now. This is what they've done me. No, good show as ever, chaps. And enjoy it. Enjoy a little trip, Omer. And I'm sure we'll be back again. I mean, we'll do something to reflect it, whether that's after the game or whether that's Friday.
In the chat tomorrow, I won't send anything apart from an emoji at full time, and that will sum up my mood. Well,
we know which one that's going to be, judging by the one we get most of the time from you as well.
I don't know where he's going with that one. I don't know where I've got to go with that one, Ben.
No, but unfortunately for the viewers, we won't be able to show it. Otherwise, we will get demonetized. But Ben, for the sake of Ben and Omer, I will refresh your brains.
Ben, thank you for joining me, mate, as always as well, mate.
Enjoyed that, mate. It's always good to have a chat. It didn't really go on script or overly on topic, but look, we do it to have a chat, as you said earlier, mate, about all things Millwall. And if it doesn't go in script order, it's always good to have a laugh and chat to you fellas. So enjoyed that.
If there was a script, it didn't reach me anyway. So there you go. If you've enjoyed listening, guys, or enjoyed watching on YouTube, be sure to comment and react to anything said in the show. If you've got your starting 11 for tonight's game away to Ipswich, by all means, please add them in as well. And Sean Hutchinson, is he over or not? Thanks for tuning, guys. Catch you guys soon. Check it out on socials at That Mill Pod, and we'll see you guys soon. Thanks for that.